my name is John Thornton. I make videos, mostly about artists based in the Philadelphia region. And recently, something quite odd has been happening with one of them. It's gone viral. It's a movie I made back in 2009 when my filmmaking skills were still quite undeveloped. I'm embarrassed by the jumpy camera work and uneven sound quality. I certainly would not place this in the upper tier of my artist videos. On the other hand, my subject, the amazing realist Scott Noel, speaks brilliantly about his painting process. Before turning to film, I too was a painter. Then and now, I have always craved what I think is my fair share of attention. So what does this mean that one of my more mediocre videos has gone viral? I decided to call Scott and tell him the news. Hey Scott, how are you doing?
Very good, John. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. I got some interesting news for you.
Okay.
That video I made about you back in 2009 has gotten the most views of anyone that I've made.
I hadn't checked in a while, but that's incredibly flattering.
And it's doing quite well all of a sudden.
Huh. Interesting.
Brace yourself, Scott. In fact, it's now got over 1.7 million views.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
And most of the exponential growth has been really recent.
You mean from in a week or something? Or...
Yeah, YouTube has an analytics feature, and on December 31st, it had 6,200 views. But then, in the next 5 days, it had 775,000 views.
What?
The last day I could get data was January 5th. And on that day, it got 328,000 views.
That's, it's really interesting. You know where Jan and I were the week before that? We were in Madrid having raptures over Velasquez paintings. Well, you can only see if you go to the Prado because they never travel. And I had just gone through this long meditation on what I so love in painting and how my experience now as I head into my 60s is a real uncertainty that anybody is interested in the same stuff that I so love. So that's kind of poetic. I don't know whether it's just an anomaly or something.
It is exceedingly odd. I'm afraid that maybe it's not just due to art lovers.
What do you think? It's something to do with something else?
The views are over 80% male and coming from India, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, and Vietnam.
So it might be the naked girls or something?
One little clue might be a comment that simply said, XXX video.
Yeah. No, I think you got it right, though, because, yeah, that sounds like somebody starved for nudity that found a place to get it easily or something.
I have a ton of videos with a lot more paintings of nudes than that one.
They just haven't found them yet, and that's all.
Well, it's not all bad news. Many, many artists have seen and liked it just because of how you talk about your approach to painting.
Yeah, I'm mixing up a lot of paint, and then usually that is applied with a knife, almost like a plaster putting on a skim coat or something. And then once an area has been wet with an initial coat, then I find myself painting wet into that, which is a wonderful way to get unexpected sort of transitions and nuances. And you can sort of see how the paintings can be broken down into 2, 3, 4, 5 big patches of color. If you get those 3 or 4 or 5 big patches of color right, you're a long way home on the painting.
Scott, that's the first of many movies I've made in which you were either the star or at least a supporting character in.
Sure. Well, I'm still very fond of it. I thought that one was one of the most immediate painter-to-painter kinds of things that I think I'll ever get to do.
So maybe the numbers don't mean that millions of people think that I'm a great filmmaker and that Scott is a great artist. But it does come back to something that he said. Maybe not everyone will share Scott's passion for Velázquez and the craft of painting.
Who do you think that little girl is?
The princess.
Right. What's
It's
this?
your mama, princess.
Okay.
But there will always be some who will.
What's that mean? What's he doing?
I'm gonna star. The artist.
Yes,
He's
that-
painting.
Just as there will always be some who appreciate my attempts to document the talents of Philadelphia artists through my movies. Who am I trying to fool? I can't stay on that high horse anymore. I don't care if people are only looking at my Scott movie hoping for titillation. I don't even care that they're only staying, on average, for 30 seconds. I want the numbers. I want 2 million. I want to go viral.